Picture this. You turn off your truck engine. You slide under your blanket at 30 degrees below zero. Outside the wind howls. 4 hours later, you wake up. You try to move. You cannot. Your fingers are numb. Your blood is turning thick. Inside this thin metal box, the boundary between sleep and death is just a few millimeters of cold glass. If you think idling your engine keeps you safe, you might have just stepped into a frozen coffin. This is how drivers actually stay alive in the coldest places on Earth. It is not what you think. The portable freezer and the 1.5-liter engine myth. Most people believe a running 15-liter engine is the only way to stay warm. It is a massive diesel powerhouse. Surely it can heat a cabin. But that is a dangerous myth. Once the truck stops, physics takes over. A truck cabin is not a brick house. It is a thin metal box with massive windows. Metal and glass are terrible at holding heat. They are heat highway routes, straight to the freezing outside. Within hours, the interior temperature plummets. Your warm breath hits the freezing windows. Instantly, it turns to thick ice. Visibility vanishes. You are trapped inside a dark, freezing block of ice. The invisible trap? Under the snow and the shoebox savior leaving. The engine running all night seems like an easy fix. But it hides a silent killer. History is filled with tragic stories of drivers who never woke up. The culprit is carbon monoxide. If heavy snow falls, it blocks the exhaust pipe. The odorless gas slowly seeps into the cabin. Sleep becomes permanent. Fortunately, engineers found a way out. They built a device. It is called a diesel parking heater. It is tiny, no larger than a shoebox. This little device draws a tiny trickle of fuel directly from the main tank. It burns it in a sealed chamber, blowing warm air inside. Quiet, safe, no engine noise. A candle in a blizzard, and the bankrupt gamble, using a massive engine to warm a small cabin, is ridiculous. It is like using a massive bulldozer to plant a tiny flower, or burning down a forest just to boil a cup of tea. It is an expensive gamble. An idling truck burns up to 4 liters of diesel every hour. Over a single winter, that waste drains thousands of dollars from your wallet. It also destroys your engine valves and drains your battery. If your battery dies at 30 below zero, in the middle of nowhere, the help is hours away. Your wallet empties. Your survival depends on keeping things efficient. The 2-square-meter fortress and the battle against frozen fuel. Smart engineering hides in plain sight. The sleeper berth is placed at the very back of the cabin. It sits far away from the windshield and door seals. This is the ultimate thermal fortress. But even this fortress has a weak spot. It is the fuel itself. When the temperature drops below 15 below zero, Standard diesel fuel changes. Paraffin wax inside the fuel begins to crystallize. It turns into a thick, waxy gel. The tiny tubes of your shoebox heater clog instantly. The heater dies. Suddenly, your thermal fortress becomes a freezer. Drivers must mix anti-gel additives to survive. The frozen era of electric trucks and the survival loop. The world is moving toward electric trucks, but batteries hate the cold. At 30 degrees below zero, an electric truck battery loses half its power. Using that precious energy to heat the cabin overnight would ruin the truck's driving range. It is an engineering puzzle still waiting for a real solution. Staying warm in the freezing. Wild is never about a single gadget. It is a loop. It connects smart insulated walls, tiny heaters, fuel chemistry, and strict laws. Now, you know the secret. Next time you see a truck parked in a blizzard, remember the silent system, keeping the driver alive.